Butchko from Maryland Association of Counties. Dominic?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Don Butchko with MACO. Counties don't normally weigh in on alcohol bills, but that's because this is not an alcohol bill. As drafted, this legislation would actually eliminate all local zoning and regulatory authority over the Class 10 and Class 8 licenses. This means that if you're granted a state license with no local overview, you will have massive concert venues on ag land with no noise control for neighbors, no traffic control for emergencies. So if grandma's having a little bit much of a good time and has a heart attack, we can't get an ambulance there. No review for light pollution. Again, if this is a neighboring suburban or urban area, it means massive industrial size distilleries and breweries at 100,000 gallons per license with multiple licenses on one facility, as well as 15,000 gallons of beer. No environmental reviews for those, no adequate public facility reviews for those, no community involvement. Again, local jurisdictions, counties normally don't weigh in on alcohol bills, but this is a zoning bill and my members have a lot of concerns. We respectfully urge an unfavorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Do I have, Senator Reedy?
Very quickly, so just so I can understand, is there an opportunity? I understand you don't want to have no ability to influence this, but is there an opportunity for some level of conversation about allowing for this with maybe a few safeguards put in, or are you guys just kind of a flat no on this?
So local jurisdictions already allow for this. There's already an existing process. Counties are at the forefront of agritourism. I think looking at this, though, and what this bill allows, this isn't agritourism. This is high-level commercial and industrial use on ag land with no oversight or community input.
I know from experience, not necessarily from what's been testified to, that one of the frustrations you have with counties is you're dealing with zoning and planning, which I think is an important local control issue. I always have been supportive of that. But also you deal with sort of a lot of hurdles that get almost artificially put in place for these kinds of events with health departments and others that are through the county. And while we don't want to wipe away the health department's control over a massive event, we certainly want them involved. Have there been some conversations with you and the sponsor about trying to work through this, or is this kind of, I'm just trying to see if there's a way to make it easier for us to do these kinds of things. You're right, there have to be safeguards. I'm just questioning that.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things to pick apart there. So health departments, those are mostly state regulations and those are quasi state and local bodies. So the state needs to be a big part of that. We are definitely open to having conversations of how we can do better. I think this entire session, the theme is, especially in Tripoli, how we can do better with permitting and government reform. We view this legislation as heavy-handed. That being said, we're always happy to be at the table and see if there's a middle ground.
One thing I would just, and I appreciate that, one thing I would encourage particularly counties that are not charter counties, they don't always understand that you're right, state health department, county health departments are quasi-state, quasi-county, but the county commissioners generally sit as the board of health in our state law. And so oftentimes, and this is not your problem, but oftentimes I don't know that they understand that they can have there's interpretation within regulation. But anyway, thank you very much for your testimony. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I don't see any other questions. That ends the hearing on Senate Bill 807.